Okay, so let's start from the beginning. The 7th point, first sentence was excess and wastefulness lead to greed, and greed has 3 consequences. The first is dissatisfaction, the second is disappointment and loss, the third is losing sincerity. In short, these are the 3 main points that he mentioned. But we can go, I guess, one by one and see if or to what extent it makes sense and how we can apply to ourselves. Let me slowly read the first one. Excess and wastefulness lead to greed, and greed has 3 consequences. The first is dissatisfaction. And as for dissatisfaction, it destroys endeavor and enthusiasm for work and causes the dissatisfied person to complain instead of giving thanks and makes him lazy. Such a person abandons possessions which, though few in number, are halal, and seeks possession or wealth which are illicit or haram and trouble-free. He sacrifices his self-respect on the way and even his honor. And then there is a footnote there. He says consumers increase and producers decrease as a result of wastefulness and lack of economy or iqtisad. Everyone fixes his eye on the government's door, and industry, trade, and agriculture, on which social life depend, decrease, and the nation declines and is impoverished. So, what do you think? Wastefulness leading to greed is the first point. And the outcome of greed, first outcome of greed is dissatisfaction. If a person is greedy, or to the extent that you are, I am greedy, are we being dissatisfied? What do you think? And also, how come wastefulness lead to greed? Let's
understand the point that why wastefulness leads to greed.
Why does wastefulness lead to greed? Any ideas? Yes.
We talked about how frugality is, or wastefulness is foregoing the opportunities to give thanks. So then, if you're not giving thanks for what you're given, you'll never be satisfied with what you have. So you'll constantly be seeking more and more. That could be how wastefulness leads to greed, because when I'm content with something, I'm not, and I'm thankful for what I have, I don't require anything more, because there's no void that's yet to be filled by something else.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I guess I'm trying to think from maybe what I've experienced, and I feel like if I've truly wasted something or like transgressed some sort of limit, like I guess the most the example that comes to my mind is if I've eaten too much. I feel like that doesn't, for me, that doesn't lead to greed right away, because I'm like, oh, this was too much. Like I need to instead slow down and not take more because I've reached this limit that I can feel. But I don't know, maybe in other situations that limit isn't as like tangible to me. Like I can't feel it, so I keep wanting more, I guess, as Zaha was saying. But I suppose that like if you are, I guess I don't really see, I'm trying to make the connection between, I guess, sorry, I'm also still forming some thoughts, but I guess I can see the connection maybe between excess and wastefulness and dissatisfaction as well, because I'm kind of thinking of like the troubled artist, for example. If they're not satisfied with an artwork, they're going to keep using materials and keep making modifications. And I've experienced this too with like artwork painting. Like I'm like, I could fix this little part and then I make it worse. And then I'm like, okay, I have to keep fixing it. And then it just gets worse and worse. So I guess that is kind of what comes to mind. But I am having trouble connecting the makes him lazy part, because I feel like if you're dissatisfied with something, then you want to make it better. Like in the artist example, you want to make it better and you keep trying rather than just, I don't know, like put in less effort. But
Mhm. Good points. So now we have two questions. So the first one is still we are trying to understand how wastefulness leads to greed, and now we have a second one. How come greed is so dissatisfaction is going to lead to laziness? So Sister Maria has a comment online. So she says, how wasteful leads to greed? Perhaps if wastefulness is a lack of appreciation and gratitude for the bounty, I think that it could indicate a disease of the heart, whereby you don't recognize the risk, the sustenance is from Allah, who is endless and boundless. Therefore, maybe that perspective leads you to think that resources are finite, rather than recognizing the giver as infinite. And if you think that resources are limited, then you're justified in pursuing resources for yourself. Yeah. So if I do not offer thanks or appreciate things coming from its creator, then I am becoming like having this greed to collect more. Since I don't see the infinite provider, the sustainer, I am trying to get as much of the limited resources for myself. Like, I guess this for the greed part of it, becoming greedy to, as Brother Virkan was trying to collect all the pencils available. I think this is related to that. It was a good point. And Sister Natalia says, similarly, when you don't appreciate the little things, you're going to try to satiate that with more and more. And this leads to disappointment, I feel, because humans are never satisfied. And this is for dissatisfaction part of it. Okay. Okay. Let's put this together. How does wastefulness lead to greed? So wastefulness, as was mentioned, as you guys mentioned, wastefulness is lack of thanks. So I do appreciate something. I do experience something, but I do not appreciate it, which means it comes and goes. Like it doesn't leave anything behind pretty much. Because the taste already disappears. Let's talk about any taste in mouth or any taste of experience. It already goes away. It already passes away. What can technically stay behind is your appreciation of it, that you are being provided, that you are being sustained. But if I didn't appreciate it, then it's totally gone. Like it came and it went. This gives some sort of an anxiety in human. Like I couldn't hold it. It came and it went. So what do I do? Like there is a saying in Turkish, in wrestling, the wrestler who loses is never satiated with wrestling. Like they want to wrestle more because they lost. Like they are trying to win the next game. I lost this one, but I'm going to win the next one. So they want to continue wrestling until they win. So I feel like this is the attitude of the waster, because I didn't appreciate it. It came to my mouth and it slipped away from me again, because no joy really stays with you. And then you would like to say, okay, I need to do more. I need to have more so that I can find satisfaction. So this greed part of it is, I mean, I guess this is just the nature of it. This is how I would like to acquire more. And this greed is leading to dissatisfaction. I guess it's just inherent in there. But coming to the question that Sister Zareen asked, how is this dissatisfaction destroying the endeavor and enthusiasm for work? Isn't it that such a person would like to work more, would like to do more endeavors? Or you can just imagine yourself in the lab, like about the things that I am greedy for, publishing more. And since a good number of people in here are in publish or perish culture, they're very familiar with what's going on there. So greedily, I am trying to publish so that I can stay afloat in academia. How is it that wastefulness is going to, I mean, dissatisfaction part is understood, but destroying endeavor and enthusiasm, how is that?
So if you don't mind, I'll start with the first question. The greed, the wastefulness and the greed. I wish Ahmed was here. The example is about the food. Is it there online? Okay. So listen carefully, Ahmed. This for you. Inshallah, biryani. Like last week we talked about Brother Hassan asked, like, mentioned appreciating things, and if something is more beautiful, let's say more luxuries, maybe you can appreciate more. And then we discussed the distinction between appreciating the thing itself versus the appreciating that it is given to you as a blessing. So I think if we start from there, like with the food, for instance, when you concentrate on the food itself, there is always something missing. Nothing you eat is perfect. There's always something missing. Like the salt is missing. If it was a little bit warmer or colder, it would be better. If they didn't forget this spice or that spice, it would be better. There's always something missing in things. This is how things are there. Like everything is limited. And when you get lost with the food itself, when you get lost with the appreciating the food itself, you find yourself in the search for the perfect food, right? Because nothing will satisfy you. I had friends in Turkey, they would travel cities. They would say, oh, baklava is best here, so we will go there and eat there. Oh, this kebab is, made the best in this city, so we will go there. And you can find, maybe a miniature version of it in yourself as well. So with this example, I guess it's easy to see how the wastefulness in this case, the wastefulness is the getting lost with the appreciation of the thing itself, right? You are wasting the fact that you are being given. You don't see the value of things, real value of things. You are lost in the superficial value. So whatever you eat is wasted. And you will not be satisfied with anything you eat. You will say, okay, that was really good, but there will be always this but at the end, even if you don't articulate. You would say, oh, the cheese stack this store is making it better. Next time we should go there. It was fine here as well. But as one of my friends said once, Tony, Birkan, if you get lost with the look, he said, there's always a new show in the town. So like you cannot be satisfied with anything. If you want to find the most beautiful car, next year a better looking car will come. So, and in that sense, the greed, the connection between wastefulness and greed is so strong. And from another aspect, again, when you get lost with the things themselves, and because everything is so limited, you know deep inside, even if you cannot, confess, you know deep inside, no matter how much you accumulate, it won't be enough. Because whatever you are accumulating doesn't have any value in it itself. But you're trying to put more. Maybe if I put more, it will be better. The money, right? Why we try to accumulate more and more money? Money by itself can buy, certain amount. It's just a piece of paper, you know that. There is no security in it. It can go away any minute, right? The next day, president makes an announcement about some, rates. They change the policy, and everything you collected in your bank, it's gone. It can happen. And you know that deep inside. No matter how much you put, how much, more and more you accumulate, your mind will tell you that you need more because it's worthless. So maybe I should invest in stock market. But then it can go away. So maybe I should invest more then. Or I should diversify my investment portfolio. Sorry. Right? These are all the language of greed. It's not about the being reasonable. Like we trick ourselves as, oh, I'm an intelligent person. I know how finance works. I'm diversifying my portfolio. It sounds as if, you know your stuff. But just the contrary. This is the language of greed. No matter how much you put together, you know that it's worthless.
And how is this destroying endeavor and enthusiasm? With greed, I collect more, but then I find dissatisfaction in and of itself. Then I ask the question deep inside, so what? Like, why was all this endeavor for? Why did I put all this effort? Because I was expecting to get more and more satisfied. And here is what I have at the end of the day at my hands. What do you think about this part? Destroying like this greed, dissatisfaction, and destroying endeavor and enthusiasm. Okay. Yes.
If you're already satisfied with whatever you have in your life, there is no scope for improvement, right? It's just like there should be some level of dissatisfaction, so that you will try to improve your life and you'll try for something better. So we can't say just like you need to be satisfied with whatever you have and like yeah.
Very good question. Shall I not have any sort of dissatisfaction so that I can look for the next? If I'm perfectly satisfied, then I'm not going to seek for anything more. I'm good. Why shall I attempt for anything more? Right? Like, I guess the question in here is, okay,
Isn't that the laziness part?
yeah, isn't the satisfaction leads laziness rather than greed leading to laziness? Right? What do you think? Yes.
I had a similar question. Like you were saying that if you're dissatisfied, that could lead you to say, you know, what was all this effort for? And that could lead you to saying, like, oh, so what? But then couldn't that be also said, like, if you're content, can't you also say, so what? I don't need to put in the effort anymore. And that's kind of what I was getting from the examples with the plants and animals. Like the plant is stationary and getting the sustenance while the animals are off doing the work to chase down their prey or whatever. So one seems like, I don't want to call a plant lazy, but that's what it seemed like to me in those examples. And I guess when I'm thinking about contentment, perhaps there's a distinction between like contentment of the soul versus contentment with the world, because I'm trying to remember where we talked about this, but there was something related to maybe like the self, like critical soul or the self-blaming soul, I think. I don't remember where exactly we were talking about that, but the idea that we should be critical of ourselves and being content with our souls might actually be a warning sign. So I just wanted to make that distinction too.
Yeah, so in this regard, then let's follow up with Sinin's question. So, when does a human become satisfied? Because Brother Birkan was mentioning appreciation of the food or appreciation of the provider. Like, am I appreciating the food or am I appreciating that I am being provided with food? Like, where does the appreciation lie? Likewise, satisfaction or being satisfied with. Am I satisfied with the thing itself or am I satisfied with its provider, its sustainer? Is it possible to be satisfied with the things themselves without being satisfied or paying attention to its provider, its sustainer? I think this is a important question to ask here. Can a human being be satisfied with what they have at hand? If they do, then that's laziness. I agree with that. Like, without being satisfied with the creator, I'm just saying that I have $5 and I don't want to work more, so five is okay. But the reasoning for that is not because I'm satisfied with it, but more so I am lazy. I feel like it's working the other way around because the real satisfaction, I am already a waster at this point. If I don't appreciate the provider, I already wasted whatever I am claiming to be satisfied with. I just don't want to work more. I am lazy. This is why I say that this much is enough. Okay, I don't want to work anymore. But if I were to be, whatever it is, it could be eating food, it could be like being together with a friend, whatever you call it. Let's say if my friendship, I see it as a blessing of my creator, and I'm content with my creator for providing such a friendship. What does it mean to stop in this case? I would like to keep this alive because I know my creator being my provider, my sustainer through this friendship. So I would like to preserve that friendship. I would like to increase that friendship, but not to increase the number, but to increase my, if you like, love affair with my creator, because through that interaction, I get to know my creator. So this is why I would like to preserve it. I would like to protect it rather than saying that that's okay. I got enough of it and I will stop there. So it doesn't work in this way. So to the extent that I really see satisfaction not in the thing itself, but what is beyond it. This way, as Brother Birkan was giving the example of food, like my now boring, but I think meaningful example of a rose. Like, what would it mean to waste a rose? Somebody gifts you a rose and you start eating the rose. That's a huge waste of the rose, right? Because it was a gift of love. It was a gift of love. It was a message. So the real satisfaction in this rose would be to understand the message and be appreciative of the message itself. Otherwise, the flower, it will rot at some point anyways. If I don't see this aspect of the rose, even if I preserve the rose itself inside, I don't know, some, what's it called? They put it inside some, I mean, they preserve it in, what's the word? Some chemicals. They put it in, dip it inside a chemical and preserve the rose. Well, resin, yeah. Let's say if I do it in the resin and the rose is staying as it is for centuries, still I wasted the rose. Although I preserved its body, I lost its message. So it's wasted. That's why I wouldn't seek satisfaction in this regard. Like, it staying physically doesn't mean that it stayed, because it got wasted.
So again, Yusuf already highlighted the distinction, but even with the contentment, you can apply the same thing. And when we talk about the contentment, if we're talking about the things themselves, what I have, I'm contented with, you know, the money I have. It doesn't mean anything. It's like being like a golem. Everybody knows golem, right? The Lord of the Rings. Right? Whatever you have, it's your precious. Right? It's the best thing. My car is the best, no matter, you know, what it is. My house is the best. My shoes are the best. Whatever. You're just content with the things that you have. It's just a sickness. Because you just, you know, the self-glorifying, probably. I mean, it could be one reason. The contentment is, again, contentment with the thing that are given to you. This giving part that you are content with. See, the treasures that it's coming from, it's infinite. Right? I'm given this amount, this much now. It should be fine for me. Because the one who gives, I am satisfied with. The one who gives, I am content with. This contentment will lead you hardworking. It's like the kids. So if you have a healthy relationship with your kids, and if they are happy with you, like happy, like they realize that you are providing them, right? They will be content with this, that the parents are providing them. Right? They will be so happy with that. They will love it. The mom or dad is taking care of them. When you have such a relationship, they will try really hard, right, to work as hard as you do. Like if you're collecting things in the house, tidying up, they will definitely help you. Why? Because they are content with the provider. They don't want to harm the relationship. They see hardworking in provider, and they say, I should I should act the same way because I respect. So in our case, we look at the creation, we see the seriousness of the creation, how things are created with a measure, how things are created constantly, with no stop, with no laziness. Right? As we say in Quran all the time, right? He is Al-Qayyum, he doesn't sleep, he doesn't get tired. This is what we observe in creation. Whoever is creating doesn't stop. Keep creating in the best way, very precisely. When I'm content with this, when I'm satisfied with this, I try to be part of it. When I find myself doing lazy acts, I would say, well, what are you doing, Birkan? Look at the creation. You're going against it. And then I will start working really hard because I will respect the creation. But if we are content with the things, oh, I have only $5, it should be enough for me. Yes, I mean, it's a good character, maybe, in terms of, being an economical. But the point is not that. And if you are satisfied with the $5, you're a stupid person. What $5 can do? Even 50 or even 500. $5 million can do nothing. It cannot save all these, the rich people. They have the same problems that we have. So the money itself cannot do anything if you're satisfied with it, no matter how much, especially if it is little. You're just stupid. But the fact that you are given, and you are given that much, you are taken care of, if you are satisfied with this, you will respect and you will do your best to be worthy of it. Just like kids. They will do so hard to make you, be pleased with them because they appreciate the provider.
Jazakallah khairan. Do we have questions or comments? Sister Sarah doesn't have any question. Probably she does, no? Okay. Arsalan has it, but he will ask after the discussion. For now. Okay.
So I'm a bit confused with contentment and wastefulness right now because let's say if I'm making $100 and I'm gonna think, oh, Allah is the one who's providing me that $100 every day. I can use it, and if Allah wants to provide me tomorrow, he's the one who's sustaining me. If he wants to give me $100 tomorrow, he will. So why should I actually think about saving that money? Because that money means nothing. Even if I save it, maybe I won't get it. I'll be able to survive for 2 days, let's say. But then I won't be able to survive because if he doesn't wills it, I can't really do anything about it, right? So where does wastefulness comes in? Where does contentment and wastefulness? I don't actually understand that part. Like, how is that those two like? So I'm sort of like not understanding that part. Like, where does contentment comes in?
Any comments, any questions? Where does contentment come in the picture here? No. Okay. So, contentment, I put some effort, and then as an output of this effort, $50 came, $100 came, whatever came. Like, I did ask, and I was provided. This is what matters. I was asked, and I was provided. Now, I'm realizing that I'm responded back. I have a sustainer, a merciful provider. This is what gives me contentment.
So I can then use that $100 up to as much. I can just use that $100 the entire day. It doesn't matter. I'll be left with $0. That's fine because I know he's the one providing, right? So there is no such thing as wastefulness now.
So, to the extent that, this was one of the examples before, right? If I can achieve this was one of the early examples with Sheikh Jilani. So he was eating this chicken, and then but a student was eating a dry bread. So the example in there was that if you can appreciate it truly, every single bit and piece of it, then yes, you can consume it. So there's no waste in it because you are really enjoying the presence of your creator in every single aspect of it. So you should do it. But I guess the way question is being asked generally happening more so like, I understood, I solved the riddle, I know my creator is the sustainer. Now I can go back and spend all of it, like as if they are two separate things. They shouldn't be, I guess. I mean, of course, your example is also a toy example in this regard. We are trying to understand the concept. But in one sense, black and white terms, yes, if you can truly understand or enjoy your creator, go and spend that $100 in a day. But if I am saying that through this interaction, I am getting to learn my creator, so to the extent that I can appreciate, I will spend, and I will not spend otherwise, then contentment is really being, however much I am realizing him, I am getting to know my creator, I am becoming thankful.
Well, one example came to my mind. The Prophet ﷺ did the exact same thing that you described. When he was given $100, he, quote unquote, spent all of it the same day. But the difference there, there was one narration, I believe, I don't remember all the details, I apologize. They sacrifice the lamb or meat, like a lamb comes somehow to their household, the prophets, and then Prophet asked Aisha radiallahu anha, how much meat is left. She says, we only have a shoulder now, the rest we distribute it. And he corrects, no, don't say it that way. Say, we have a shoulder to distribute, right? So he was given a lamb and he spent all of it the same day. How? By giving to the needy ones around him. In other narrations, he praying, leading the prayer, and then something comes to mind, he leaves the prayer or end the prayer, the quicker, let's say, and then run away. And Sahaba asked, where did you go? He says, I remember there was a date in my house that I didn't distribute. I just went and gave it to someone needy. He truly knew that whatever is given by the all-merciful, all-compassionate one, and he acted accordingly. How you know your creator, you will act that way. In your case, for instance, when you say creator or Allah, if you mean someone who gives money and then you just go and have fun with it, because the rest he doesn't interfere with. This is your creator. I mean, in your example, creator is just the one who gives money almost like a randomly, doesn't care about the money itself, doesn't care about what the money is, what is used for, what is your needs, what is the needs of others, what satisfies you, what harms you. He doesn't know anything. Just, they throw the money. There are such people, right? When they get money, they just throw it to the people without thinking. This is your creator. You believe that much, you got the money, and the rest is your pleasure. So when we say Allah, when we say creator, we have to feel inside what we mean with that. For Prophet, the creator was not only the giver, but the creator was the one who taking care of everyone. Who is the one who taking care of, everything in the creation. The prophet had this, satisfaction, understanding. So he was not afraid of losing anything. He was not into his pleasures either, because he knew that, his purpose in life was to know his creator better. Because the real pleasure would come from that. He knew that. So he spent all his money, just like you did, spending all your $100 in the same day, in the same moment sometimes, when it arrives, but to get the real pleasure. In your case, your creator is just a random giver. You take the money, or you say, okay, I'm lucky. He gave me $100 this today. So before he takes it away, because this is also how you believe, sometimes, he punishes you. He takes it away as a test. You say, okay, without, this happens, let me go and spend it. You have that much satisfaction. So we need to see the difference. We need to, the moment we say Allah, the moment we say Creator gives everything, I know that already. We have to question what I mean with that. Does he also give the satisfaction, or is it the money that gives the satisfaction? We have to ask for that. What is it that he pleases with? We have to ask all these questions, and then the word Allah or Creator would start meaning something.
Jazakallah khairan. So, if there are no comments, let's get to the second point. The second consequence of greed is disappointment and loss. The greedy person drives away what he wishes for and is found disagreeable and is deprived of assistance and help. Even confirms the saying, the greedy person is unsuccessful and suffers loss. And he even gave an example from plants and animals, the difference between how plants and animals in terms of how sustenance run to them. He also talked about milk, for the babies, how milk go to them, but as the wild animals, they are chasing their dirty food, although they are capable, like the baby over there, like very incapable, very needy, very content. Milk comes to it, but then for a wild animal, its food is just escaping from it. The capable but greedy animal. And also a third example he gives is a fat fish in the sea where there is not much really. But then some animals, such as, foxes and monkeys, they are appearing to be weak despite being greedily chasing their food. He gives three interesting examples. And a fourth one, we are on record, but he's talking about usury of a certain nation. Yes. And how just hoarding money yet not benefiting from it, like living in the most insecure, like despite being the owner of such money, greedily collecting so much wealth, being the least secure, least content people, yet other people who are apparently less greedy of, money. He gives the example of Bedouins, yet living a more contented, nomadic life. They are living a life that is more content. He gave 4 examples. To me, among those 4 examples, one thing that I would like to mention before passing the microphone to you, there's a very interesting way of reading life, reading existence, just comparing plants and animals from this point of view of greed is very interesting. Like it is saying that plants are content, animals comparatively are with greed chasing their food. They can move. But animals are like, as they are chasing it, food escapes from them. As plants are waiting, food comes to them. Like this is a very interesting reading of the book of creation. I would like to highlight this part. Because one can argue, is this a proper reading of the existence? Is this really what that means? Like when I used to read such things from Nursi, that question really came to me. How do we know that this is a proper message that you can read? What is meant from this? Is this really a proper way to read it? But I think this is how a student of Quran really reads the book of universe, saying that it's not by coincidence that nutrients and water and air, everything goes to the feet of, if you like, plants, and they are being fed so beautifully. But the animals are needed to chase their food. Likewise, to baby, this needy, content baby, milk comes to the service of the baby. But as you start gaining like self-power and then greedily start chasing the food, you now need to chase your own food. Go and start working and earn your own livelihood rather than food coming to you for free when you were more like in a state of, let's say, fitra as a baby. So this at least is, and we have seen another example of this before, where author was mentioning how fig as a fruit, it itself drinks mud but gives milk to its children. This was one other way that author makes such a reading. I just want to highlight this and then take your opinion about this attitude of, what do you think in terms of greed leading to disappointment and loss, and also repulsing, if you like, sustenance. Do you agree with that, or any point that you would like to add? Yes. Can we send the microphone to? Yeah.
I think I was honestly confused about this point and the examples in general, because like questions come to my mind then, what's the difference between being greedy and just trying to find ways for survival? Because like in this example, like animals are chasing their food and like I feel like it's like the fitra, like they were born this way, like they have to go out and like hunt food, and if they don't, they're gonna die. So I just don't understand like the difference between being greedy or how like Nursi explains this here.
I think this might be along a similar line of thought, but maybe like what would be the difference between maybe greed and like ambition in something? Is there, I guess maybe as a segue for next week's retreat, inshallah, like how do we take like yeah, like in our professional lives, like if I want to seek for something or attain something, like what is the proper intention behind doing that? I guess we've been discussing that so far, but is there an important distinction to make then between like greed and ambition, or are they the same thing kind of?
That is a good question. So I'll get back to the first question, because when author says trees are content, this is in a sense we interpreting what they are. Like similar to if there was a clock here, which we don't have, but a wall clock. If like is it called arms or legs? Arms of the clock, or you call it hands? Okay, hands of the clock. Like if one of them is at 12, the other one is at 3, we say, oh, it is 3 o'clock. The clock itself doesn't know what's going on, but we know what it is saying, like, because it speaks to us. It itself doesn't harm the message, really. I think the way author is now reading what's going on is the creator set up a system out there where there are plants and there are animals. And if you look at them, one of them is waiting for the sustenance to come to it. The other one is chasing its sustenance. So now he's saying that what does my creator tell me with that scene, that scenery? Like as if actually if we look at the movies with a lens of like serious lens of critical artistic way, why did the director put it this way? Like sometimes, why did he choose to look the camera from this angle? I haven't done this up until getting married to an artist, but she showed me a few unique movies which I would never watch myself because they were boring. But then looking at those movies with the lens that she introduced, though, because they were strange movies, like totally unlike anything that you see in Hollywood, because in Hollywood, we are being pumped with either romance or, I don't know, some action scenes and whatnot. Not much content. It's just pumping you from one extreme feeling to another extreme feeling to get you tickled enough to stay, right? This is Hollywood. But for that type of movies, the artistic movies, you really ask the question, why did the author use this what was that movie? The Tunisian guy's movie, Baba Aziz. Like in that movie, there's a girl at some point who is always wearing black. And at the last scene at some point, she shaves her hair. And at the very end of the movie, you see the girl in like perfect white clothes and whatnot. Every thing from beginning to end, this movie was filled with symbolism. And then you ask the question, what did it try to tell me? Because now the movie itself becomes a conversation between the director and you. The girl wearing this way, that way, in and of itself doesn't matter at this point, because it becomes a conduit with which a message is being delivered to you. The author at this point is now looking at the creation as such, says, the director of this universe put an actor in the movie as plants, which just wait there, sustenance goes to them. There's another type of actors, which is called animals. They chase their food escapes from them. He says, what does this mean? What does the director of this movie want to tell me with this setup? If you're content, sustenance comes to you. If you are greedy and would like to collect more, the food will escape from you. So this is how he is reading. Otherwise, yes, I mean, animals are set to chase their food because directors set them to chase their food. But the message was for me, as the audience, what am I supposed to read from that scene? So that's why I think it's a interesting example to read the Book of Universe. Okay. Any comments, any questions? Yes, there is a comment there.
So we have this example presented to us, or examples presented, where the more needy you are, the more you are assisted for that need. And the more greedy you are, the less assistance you have. But the author mentions that through greed, the person drives away what he reaches for. One thing is trying to understand like what he wishes for obviously is, we're talking about it in a material sense, but I don't quite understand how he is driving it away, even in that like material sense. It's one thing to look at it from the perspective of like we are wasted, the person by being greedy, they are wasting their opportunities to be thankful. But by doing that, I can understand that the creator may choose to withhold, but it doesn't, I don't quite understand what's meant by the person drives away what he wishes for because of his.
Okay. Yeah, my understanding is it's not that. I guess that's why he is giving the example of animal kingdom, as a wild animal is attacking its prey. The prey escapes. This is how the creation is set up. Like the prey is not waiting there for you to capture. If you attack, it just escapes. And the creator has set up the creation, or is creating in a way that for the greedy person, you receive a response from your creator that you are not reaching it anyways. As you keep chasing it, it just escapes from you more. And we need to double check in our lives. Is it really the case? Like, we need to check with the thing that I greedily run after in this life. Do I easily obtain them, or do they escape from me far and far away? Because in my life, I have very vivid examples of this. Whenever I felt self-reliant, saying that I will achieve this, it's my job, I am good at this, and I would like to get that, I always failed in it. And in the topics which I feel like I don't know if my provider sustains me, provides me, in those matters, I was always provided. Like, there are many examples of this in my life. Like, starting from the first time I clearly observed this was in university entrance exam. I was feeling super confident about math. I did the largest number of mistakes in math. I was feeling very shaky about the language and biology. I didn't do any mistakes in biology or the language. This was university entrance exam. But it kept repeating a lot in my life. Whenever I feel like, oh, this is a no-brainer, it's mine, it just goes away from me. And whenever I feel needy and say that if my provider provides me, I can do that, then I was given. Despite this, still, there are many things that I'm going through right now that I feel like I got this, I deserve this, I will get that. It keeps escaping from me. So, I mean, this is how the creation is set up. It's not like why it is as such. The author is saying that, don't you see this is the case? This being the case, let's reinvestigate. Why does creator put such a thing in here? Because then comes his interpretation. With your greed, you're making it just go away. This is how the creator set it up. And the more you chase the world, in a sense, like to summarize, world escapes from you. And if you don't chase the world starts coming to you or chasing you. This is the disparity. The more you stay away from it, it just presents itself ready for you. But the moment you start chasing it, it just start escaping from you.
In the examples, for instance, when he talks about the animals, wild animals, the preys, they got, like, eventually they got what they looking for, right? A lion, for instance, chases a deer, and he gets the deer. Oh, actually, she, right? The females, yeah, got the food, and the males wait at the home for lions. So she got what she wants for. It's bigger than what a tree gets. In example, he also talks about the trees. Says trees are so needy But the difference between the two is for tree, the sustenance will come. Tree just stays there and sustenance runs to the tree. With the lion example, lion get the sustenance as well. But the lion has to chase the sustenance, run after it. Sometimes loses, sometimes, gets it, whatever. Same way when you look at the people as well. If you are so greedy for the money, you eventually get the money, right? There's such a, let's say, what is the word? The custom of the creator, right? If you chase after money, you get money, but you have to chase after it. And it's not only just running, it's putting your entire mental effort there. And this is your belief now. When you look at such people, you will see, or when you look at the moments of yourself running after money, you will realize that in that moments, you would say, this is life, man. Like, you have to fight for it, right? You have to make the best investments. You have to read all these resources. You have to be better than this and that. This is your life in such moments. So greed, does this to you. That's one aspect. Another aspect also, we shouldn't forget that nobody actually, even in the material sense, nobody actually tries to, accumulate money. Money doesn't mean anything. I mean, in our society, it really doesn't mean anything. It's just one decision from one government or one, central bank, and everything changes, right? Everything changes. So it doesn't mean anything. But through money, you assume you will get certain things. And when you chase for it, you never get it. You think the health is provided through money. You chase for it and you lose your health. This is what happens to all of us. You think the family comes with the money. You chase after it, you lose your family because you spend all your time working. So that was for you, Yusuf. You don't spend any time with your, the family. You ask for money for, the staying younger, and you get older. I have a colleague, director of this, director of that, one of these type, really good one. I asked him why he's not retiring. And, you are old enough, why don't you get retired? He said, what I'm going to do, get retired, like at home, nobody cares about me. I don't have any authority, right? At least here I play, I trick myself as if, I have authority. So for his entire life, he chased for authority, run after authority, and even in the smallest circle, he doesn't have any authority. How can he has any authority in a bigger circle? People will pretend as if from time to time, but everybody will know that nobody cares about him, including himself. If one day he needs to be replaced, he will be replaced happily. Happily for others. When you chase after something, you lose it. Well, maybe after somebody else, because I changed it.
Yes. Any comments? Any questions? I think this was a practical thing that's in life, how the creator is creating. And we have 4 minutes, but we didn't discuss the third consequence.
But because you mentioned what I wanted to mention, how creator creates. Oh, sorry.
Which question was it? Or ambition.
Well, what was it? I don't know.
Ambition versus greed. Is there a difference?
I mean, I have to study the words. I don't know. I mean, the only thing, like the only framework, that makes sense to me for ambition, greed, or satisfaction, contentment, it's what kind of creation you see out there, and at what part of it you are. Like if you are ambitious about things, because you see in the creation there is perfection. Like everything in the creation, including myself, the way my fingers work, or sometimes don't work, perfect. The way it's being created, perfectly created. When my finger doesn't work, for instance, the rest of my body adapts to this fact. I have a non-working finger, and my brain knows about it. Such a perfection for me, right? When I see this perfection everywhere, I get so ambitious about, being part of it. Whatever I do should be, at least, that's my goal, should be as perfect as this one, what I observed in the creation. I become so ambitious about that. Out of the respect to things. I don't know if this is what you mean or not, but one thing I wanted to highlight is the author talks about, what was the wording there? Something law. He uses the word law when he talks about these animals. There is such a law in the creation, he says, in original Düstur. But the important point that, anyway, to me is, the author looks at the creation and he sees these laws of rububiyah, the sustenance, or law of sustainer. We look at the creation, what we see, laws of nature. We say there's a preservation of mass, preservation of this, or, this equality, this inequality, whatever. We put names like the laws of nature. Author says, no, there is no such thing. There are laws of sustainer or sustenance. The ways the sustenance is given. Study them, understand these laws, and these laws will not mislead you. And you can use them in your life. When you realize this law of, for instance, greed versus chasing after, it's a law, author says. And you see that it is applicable everywhere in the universe, in every times. So you can apply it to your life as well. You say, okay, there is such a law, and I rely on this law, the dustur, or the ways the creator, does things, how he creates. You study the creation and you infer these laws. This is the divine science. Instead of, what we do in the labs, try to come up with some made up false laws, author says, don't do that. Study the creation, but try to infer the laws of sustenance. How sustenance is provided. In what circumstances? In what ways? What is the input? What is the output? There are equations, he says. Study them, find these equations, and now you have something useful. Instead of, building a nuclear bomb and destroy people, using laws of sustenance, you will study the same nuclear phenomena and find out something else.
So we are at 8:46, so let's stop here. But the third one was about sincerity. And very interestingly, he says, greed, destroys sincerity. Because as much as a person is greedy, then they would seek for appreciation of others rather than the appreciation of the creator. Like in the social circle, same thing applies as well. As I am trying to seek satisfaction from the thing itself, this is a waste, right? How about seeking satisfaction from people rather than seeking satisfaction from the creator? Whom am I trying to please? Who is going to tell me that I am a good person so that I'm going to become a good person? If I'm expecting Abdurrahman to tell me that I'm a good guy and seeking satisfaction in that, so I am greedily trying to receive approval of Abdurrahman, then it's making me lose sincerity because I'm just trying to seem good rather than being properly good. So this is why greediness, when it comes to humans' social life, makes me lose sincerity, which is another outcome of wastefulness. Like wastefulness leads to insincerity when it comes to human-human relationship. Very interesting outcome. Okay, so let's conclude here, inshallah. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Al-Fatiha.